Hello, my name is Anya, and today we will add payment processing to our application using the Stripe plugin. To add payment functionality to our app, so the first thing we need to do is install this Stripe plugin by Bubble. This acts as an API connector. This connects us with Stripe, and we just need to give it some keys so it can connect to our account. So what I did is I created an account with Stripe and I went to my developers tag. I'm going to go to API keys and I'm going to say viewing test data. I currently haven't activated my account, so I can't view live data, but regardless, you just need to make sure that you are using test data. Then we can see our publishable key and then our secret key. So I'm going to copy over this publishable key and put it over here, publishable key for development, and then copy over the secret key. Now over here, we can see that all of these data calls and actions come with this Stripe plugin. So if we actually look at the Workflows tab, we can see that there's this option of payments, and there are a bunch of actions here that weren't previously there. So here I have a data type of type product with a name and a price, and I have some products that I added directly into the database, and then I have a repeating group that is displaying those products. Now, in order for someone to be able to buy a product, they first need to have a credit card saved. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a button here called Add a Credit Card. We will attach a workflow in a second, but in order to see if the user has actually added a credit card, I'm going to add some text over here. And this text is going to read current users, Stripe credit cards, last 4 digits. Now, if we look at our data tab, I don't see any of those Stripe credit card as a field. Essentially, Bubble is connecting this with Stripe's thing, so it's super secure and we don't need to worry about privacy rules. And by installing the plugin, we automatically have all of these fields on the user that we can reference. Now let's add an action. So we are going to be using one of the actions under payments, and it's going to be collect the user's CC, which is credit card information. And this will just automatically store it to the user. We can preview this. I need to be logged in actually so that it can store the person, so I'm just going to create a user from the account from the database so we don't have to create a sign up login flow and just run as that user. So Bubble is now assuming that I'm logged in. Now I can go and add a credit card. We are in test mode, so I can add in a random number. Just going to give it a random CVC and expiration date, and we can save it. It's saying that it is successfully saved, and we can see the last 4 digits, which were 444, appear over here. So now that I've got a credit card attached to my account, we can actually set up functionality for me to be able to buy something. So button, under payments, there's this option to charge a user using a saved credit card. There's also an option to charge a user, which would ask for their credit card information again, but since we already have that saved, I'm going to choose this one. So we are going to charge the current user, and we're going to charge them however much the product costs. So the current sales product's price. I'm going to leave the currency as USD, and our description can be you bought a, and then I'm going to dynamically you bought a, and then I can dynamically insert the current sales product's name. Here, there's this option to check the fact that the payee of this transaction is another user. This would be for a marketplace setup where I'm buying something from somewhere else, and then you would just put the user that I'm buying from, and then however much your app wants to take out of the price of the product. I also need to provide the card ID to charge. Stripe has that saved to the user, so it's just going to be the current user's Stripe credit card's ID. I am going to preview this, and I have a saved credit card, so I can buy a $5 cupcake, and we can see that my credit card was successfully charged. But I bought this cupcake. Now I want to somehow be able to see that I bought it and all of the other things that I've bought. So we need to set up some sort of payment transaction history. Now, Stripe has invoice item options, but that has to do more with subscriptions and not one-off payments. So what we need to do is actually create an entirely new data type. I'm going to call this payment, and a payment is going to have a product. Now, the benefit of having a separate data type is if I wanted to include other fields like a description of the payment, I could do that over here, and I can also save the date that this happened, which would be the created date. Now on my user, I'm going to add the user's payments as a list of payments. Now, one thing that's important is privacy rules with this. We really only want the current user to be able to see their payments. We don't want everyone else to be able to view someone's payments. Now that we've got the data type set up, we can actually, after charging the user, we can create a new payment. We can set the product equal to the current sales product, and then our description can be arbitrary text, you bought a, and then I'm going to add in the current sales product's name. Now that we've got this payment set up, we need to add it to our current users' lists of payments. So we can assume that when we purchase something, it's added to the user's list of payments, but let's set up a repeating group to display that. This is going to be of type content payment with its data source, the current user's payments. Within a cell, I want to see the current sales payments product's name. To expand it out a little. The current sales payments product's price. The current sales payments product's current sales payments description, and then also the current sales payments creation date. So essentially the date that the user bought this. Let's just go back to our data source here, which is the current user's payments. I actually want it sorted by creation date, and it's going to be descending, so I want the most recent one at the top. Let's try this out. I'm going to buy a t-shirt. We get the Stripe notification that my credit card was successfully charged, and here we have that with the date and time, and then also the description that I bought a t-shirt. I can continue doing this, and we just see all of that added to my payment history. So if you were building an app, you would obviously make the UI, the UX a lot better. You would make this look a lot nicer, maybe spread it out across different pages, but the underlying functionality is the same, and I hope this video helped you add that to your application.